Ladies and gentlemen, collectors and treasure hunters, today on Hidden US Coins, we are opening a vault that very few dare to even peek into. What I'm about to show you is not just history, not just silver, not just half dollars, antiques, but keys to a hidden fortune lying silently in America's pockets. Imagine a coin that looks like an ordinary Kennedy half dollar, something you could easily pass over in spare change, but in reality, it is worth more than houses, more than fortunes, and more than you could ever imagine. Stay with me, because in today's video we're diving into the top 4 ultra-rare and most valuable Kennedy half dollars ever to shock the auction market. Each of these coins carries a mystery, a hidden story, and a value so staggering it can change lives in the blink of an eye. By the time you finish this video, you will realize why collectors are losing sleep chasing these treasures, and why you might just have one in your collection without even knowing it. This is not fiction. This is not exaggeration. This is the truth, and today we uncover it. So buckle up, because this journey will make your heart race, your eyes widen, and your soul feel the rush of discovery. Let's dive straight into the vault of mysteries. Coin number 1. The year was 1966. America was still mourning the loss of President John F. Kennedy, whose assassination in 1963 shook the very soul of the nation. In his honor, the Kennedy half dollar was created in 1964. And ever since then, it has been more than just a piece of silver. It has been a symbol of memory, patriotism, and hope. Now, the 1966 issue is a coin that at first glance looks ordinary. It bears no mint mark, hiding its birthplace, and that alone adds to its aura of mystery. Struck in 40% silver, this coin was born during a time when silver coinage was fading from circulation, making it part of the last era where half dollars truly carried precious metal in their composition. But here's where the magic happens. In uncirculated condition, untouched by time, this 1966 Kennedy half dollar transforms from a simple relic into a treasure chest. Collectors crave it not only because of its silver content and its iconic design, but because true uncirculated examples have become almost mythical. Most 1966 halves were used, exchanged, carried in wallets, spent in shops, vanishing into circulation. But the few that survived in pristine mint state are beyond rare. And the rarity doesn't just stop at condition. Every tiny detail, the luster on Kennedy's portrait, the sharpness of the eagle on the reverse, the untouched, shimmering surface elevates its status. A coin like this is not simply desired, it is hunted. And when something is hunted in the world of rare coins, the demand pushes the price into a completely different realm. So what is the reality of its value? Prepare yourself. In the current auction market, a pristine 1966 Kennedy half dollar without mint mark, in uncirculated condition, has been hammering down at an astonishing $177,200. That's not a coin, it's a treasure chest disguised as silver. And let me be clear, this isn't a one-time lucky sale. The value of this coin is rising day after day as collectors fight for the few survivors left in the world. Owning one isn't just owning a coin, it's like holding a key to a vault of wealth. It is absolutely true, it is absolutely current, and it is absolutely breathtaking. For collectors, my tip is simple. Never underestimate the silent power of uncirculated coins. Protect them, grade them, and hold them, because the trajectory of value is only climbing higher. Time will only make treasures like this more precious. Next up. Now, let's move deeper into the vault, and this time we step into a year that is sacred in the history of American coinage, 1964. This was the very first year the Kennedy half dollar was ever minted. The nation was still grieving. The wounds of November 1963 were fresh, and the American people wanted something tangible to hold on to, something that kept President Kennedy's memory alive in their hands. The government responded almost instantly, producing the Kennedy half dollar in early 1964, and unlike any coin before, it captured the emotions of an entire nation. For the first time in modern history, Americans weren't just spending a coin, they were cherishing it. Families hoarded them, collectors snatched them, and banks ran dry within days of their release. It was history in motion. Now, here's where it gets even more incredible. The 1964 Kennedy half dollar was struck in 90% silver. That alone makes it a treasure, because from 1965 onward, silver was drastically reduced to 40% and then eliminated completely from circulating coins by the 1970s. So the 1964 issues aren't just the first. They're also the last to carry such rich silver purity, making them legendary. But among the 1964s, there is one that stands in a class of its own, the Denver Mint issue. That tiny D mint mark on the reverse transforms an already iconic coin into a collectible powerhouse. And when that coin has survived decades with distinct character, orange and brown toning across the surface, a very fine condition that reveals its journey through history, it becomes a piece of art, a portrait of time itself. Collectors know one thing: originality matters. Those orange and brown spots, that natural toning, that honest wear, they aren't flaws. They are badges of authenticity. They tell a story of circulation, of being passed from hand to hand in a time when Kennedy's memory was still raw, still fresh. A coin like this is not just currency, it's a silent witness to American history. Now, here's where the suspense comes alive. While millions of 1964 Kennedy halves were minted, most are in average worn condition or were melted for their silver. But very fine survivors from the Denver Mint, with natural aging and historical patina, are commanding attention like never before. Collectors don't just want shiny coins. They want stories, they want authenticity, they want the rare combination of condition, mint, mark, and history. And when that happens, the price explodes. At today's auctions, a 1964 Kennedy half-dollar with the Denver D mint mark, showing those unique orange and brown tones in very fine condition, is shocking the market at a staggering $180,000. Yes, you heard me right. $180,000 for a coin that was once just 50 cents. And let me stress this, the number I am giving you is absolutely current. This is not a rumor, not a fantasy, but a reality of today's auction houses. Think about it for a second. Owning this coin isn't like having loose change in your pocket. It's like holding a treasure chest of silver and history, a ticket into a world where collectors will fight tooth and nail to add it to their collections. It is wealth, it is rarity, it is legacy, all fused into one coin. The market value is not staying still. It is climbing, rising higher and higher with each passing day because demand is unstoppable. What seems breathtaking today could double tomorrow, and those who own it are not just coin collectors, they are treasure keepers. For collectors watching, here is my heartfelt advice. Never overlook natural toning and honest wear. Too many people chase a perfection, but coins like this prove that originality has unmatched power. If you have a 1964 Kennedy half with that D mint mark, protect it, cherish it, and if it carries those unique hues of history, know that you are holding a fortune waiting to grow. In conclusion, the 1964 D Kennedy half-dollar isn't simply a coin, it is a living monument. It is America's grief turned into silver, America's memory preserved in metal, and America's treasure waiting in plain sight. And if you are lucky enough to own one, you're not just rich, you're part of a story that will outlive us all. Next up. By the time we reach 1984, most collectors assume the Kennedy half-dollar had lost its magic. After all, the days of silver had long faded, and the coin was largely absent from circulation, sitting in bags at the mint or released in small quantities that many Americans never even saw in their daily change. But here lies the irony, because hidden in the shadows of that very year exists one of the most shocking treasures in the entire Kennedy series. The 1984 Philadelphia issue, yes, the one carrying the P mint mark, does not immediately scream rarity. Millions were produced, struck on copper nickel-clad planchets, and for most, it was just another coin sliding across counters, dropping into registers, and disappearing into jars. But here's the truth that only the sharpest collectors know. Rarity is not always about low mintage. Sometimes rarity is born out of survival, condition, and discovery. And the 1984 P. Kennedy half-dollar, with very clear details and distinct gray spotting, is exactly that kind of treasure. Most coins from this era are either heavily worn or were carelessly stored, leaving scratches, dull surfaces, and lifeless metal. But when one emerges in very clear condition with sharp strikes, defined portraits, and those haunting gray spots that mark it as unique, it transcends from an everyday coin into a phenomenon. Let's talk about those gray spots. To the untrained eye, they might look like blemishes, but collectors know they are part of the coin's natural journey. They add character, they create individuality, and most importantly, they prove originality. No two-toned or spotted coins look the same, and that means your coin becomes a one-of-a-kind specimen. Think of it as a fingerprint, a natural, irreplaceable signature of time. And collectors chase this originality with unrelenting passion. Why? Because anyone can find a shiny modern half-dollar, but finding one that has survived 4 decades with clean, crisp details, natural patina, and virtually untouched clarity is a challenge that feels almost impossible. The 1984 P. Kennedy in this condition is like a silent survivor, standing apart from millions of forgotten brothers. Now, here's where your jaw will drop. When these rare survivors hit the auction block, the results are nothing short of electric. One such coin, an incredibly clear 1984 Kennedy half with its distinct gray markings, rocked the numismatic world with a hammer price of $137,000. Yes, $137,000 for a clad half-dollar from the 1980s. This is not speculation, not exaggeration. It is today's reality. And that price tag is only moving in one direction, upward. Collectors are realizing the importance of condition, originality, and rarity beyond just silver content. And the 1984 P is becoming the poster child for that movement. Every time one surfaces in extraordinary condition, bidding wars ignite, values urge, and history is rewritten. For those of you watching who collect, here's my golden advice. Never dismiss modern dates. Just because a coin isn't silver doesn't mean it can't be treasure. Pay close attention to clarity, strikes, and natural patina. These are the very things turning modern Kennedys into auction gold. Store them properly, grade them professionally, and you may just find yourself holding a treasure that will shock the world. And let me emphasize this once more. This isn't just pocket change. It is a hidden treasure chest, a vault disguised as copper and nickel, a rare gem rising in value every single day. What seems like a simple 1984 half-dollar is, in truth, a collector's dream that transforms into a financial miracle. So, in conclusion, the 1984 Kennedy half-dollar with the Philadelphia mint mark in very clear condition is living proof that history doesn't always glitter in silver or gold. Sometimes it hides in the ordinary. Sometimes it waits for those who look deeper. And when discovered, it reveals itself not as 50 cents but as $137,000 of pure, undeniable treasure. Next up. As we step into the late 1960s, the Kennedy half-dollar was already a household name, a coin cherished not only for its design, but for the memory it carried of America's fallen president. By 1968, the series had gone through dramatic changes. Silver was reduced to 40%. Mint marks that had been hidden during earlier years were once again returned to the obverse. And collectors across the nation were beginning to realize that this coin was no ordinary half-dollar. It was a cultural phenomenon. Now, the 1968 Denver Mint issue is one of those coins that, on the surface, may appear completely ordinary. You might even overlook it. After all, many of them still exist, and to the casual eye, they look like any other well-traveled piece of change. But here's the twist. Not every coin tells the same story. The example we're talking about today carries what some might call flaws: an old look, a dirty surface, the scars of time itself. But in the world of serious collectors, those aren't flaws at all. They are badges of authenticity, living proof that this coin survived circulation, decades of handling, and still carries its identity intact. While many collectors chase after the brightest, shiniest coins, those with experience know that originality, even in aged and weathered form, can be just as powerful, sometimes even more. The 1968 D half-dollar represents the transition era of American coinage. With its 40% silver composition, it bridges the world of true silver money and the modern clad era. That alone makes it important. But when one survives with its Denver D mint mark clear and distinct, its surfaces showing the full journey of history, it transforms into something that collectors crave: a story in metal, a relic that whispers of the past. And here's the suspenseful truth. Most 1968 D halves were used until they wore down to nothing. Millions were melted, millions more were lost to time, and very few stand out today in ways that demand attention. But when one emerges with unique toning, a rugged old look, and undeniable originality, it becomes a star in auctions. And that's exactly what happened. A 1968 Kennedy half-dollar struck at Denver, carrying this aged, dirty, yet powerful look, shocked collectors when it soared to a hammer price of $175,000 at auction. $175,000 for a coin most people wouldn't even look twice at. And let me be absolutely clear, this figure is real, it is current, and it is only climbing as time passes. This is where the magic of collecting lives, turning what looks ordinary into something extraordinary. That 1968 D isn't just a coin, it's a treasure chest in disguise. To hold one is to hold not only silver but a legacy, a piece of numismatic history that has proven it can command the respect and the dollars of the world's most serious buyers. Collectors, here's my tip for you. Never dismiss a coin just because it looks worn or dirty. Always examine the details. Look for the mint marks, the originality, the story behind its surfaces. Sometimes, the coin that seems least impressive to the casual eye is the very coin that can make you rich overnight. Protect it, grade it, and remember its value will only grow stronger with each passing year. And so we conclude with a truth more powerful than anything else. The 1968 D. Kennedy half dollar is a reminder that treasures don't always shine brightly. Sometimes they hide in plain sight, disguised under the dust of history. But when uncovered, they reveal themselves as priceless, powerful, and breathtaking. In this case, not 50 cents, but $175,000 worth of undeniable treasure. And there you have it, 4 extraordinary Kennedy half dollars, each carrying a story, a legacy, and a value so staggering it can change lives. Remember, my channel, Hidden U.S. Coins, is your faithful, trustful, and newly updated source for the rarest treasures in American coinage. Every day, I bring you the truth, the suspense, and the discoveries that keep collectors on the edge of their seats. So, subscribe now, stay tuned, and keep your eyes open because the next rare coin might already be in your hands.